Hi, everybody. Welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. I'm your host, Isaiah, back with the Bounce Checks crew to talk Big Brother Canada with the hostess of the Moses, Arisa Cox. Arisa, what's going on?
I am so happy to see your faces. The bounce checker. You guys are so shady. I love it. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy we have an 11th season. I don't know. Not all of you are Canadian, but it's very, very rare for our country to have a show, I think, this well respected, go this long. So thank y'all for coming along for the ride.
Of course, we're the true hosts over here, so we're glad to talk to you. So real quick, first question I want to ask you. So how's the transition? You were a host for the longest time now. You've been a producer for a while. How has that been for you?
Let me tell you, it's a job, right? It's tough, and I've had lots of producing experience before this as well. This is a very, very difficult show to produce. I think if you do it well, it looks really easy, but it's very, very hard. We're not dealing with actors, we're dealing with real people who have real lives and families. And we also have a really dedicated fan base who experience the world through the eyes of these people on our show. Like, you guys know, for some people, this is a TV show. For other people, it is a lifestyle. To the point when, and I'm sure you've had this feeling, sometimes when it's like the season's over, you look at your phone and you're like, what is this even for? Like, I don't even know what I need this for now, because you're not following this thing so faithfully. So it's such an honor to be able to work on a show this good and with people who are this good at their jobs. It is also very difficult, and I think that's always going to be the drama behind the scenes. Is we want to keep the quality at 100. We have a lot of other things to consider that aren't always so obvious to people who are just like watching their show or watching the favorite person that they like on TV.
Yeah, and that kind of like transitions to mine. First of all, I'm so excited to talk to you, Arisa. Like for you, we know, like I remember the day that I got my follow from you on Twitter. You have a big social media presence. So I just want to say, like, how has it been like dealing with, on the producer side, dealing with like the scrutiny and the different, backlash you get, as well as the different praise? Like, how does that feel knowing that you most of the time try to type back to those people with those Twitter fingers?
I think over the years, things have changed too. I mean, you guys have been Big Brother fans for a long time. Way back when I was on reality TV, so 20 years ago, so after the first Big Brother US aired, I was on a reality show. We had live feeds. I lived on the show for a year, but we could actually chat with the people watching on the live feed. Can you imagine if Twitter could talk to the house guests at the same time they were in that, like, anyway.
Scary.
So I remember a time that was different. And then I remember the advent of Twitter and how that sort of changed our social media enjoyment of these, very intensive reality TV shows. And then I also remember when, it used to be online was kind of this mix of like the real shady and also the so funny. Yeah. Like our fandom is hysterically funny. Like I would be cackling all day long. My husband, who doesn't understand the Big Brother world at all, would look at me and just scratching his head, and I'd be like, "You don't understand." Right? And I think I definitely used to do so much more. And then life also does catch up with you. Like I have 3 kids now. My littlest one is 3 years old. So it was hard for me, but I couldn't do like that. The way I could when, maybe my free time was a little bit more freed up. And now there's a lot more on my plate. But is there part of me that kind of misses what the Big Brother world online was a few years ago? Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like I do miss that because I feel like there's like an edginess that is a little bit different. I don't know if it's because of COVID or there could be 1,000 reasons why I feel like it's a lot edgier than it once was. And that kind of, I'm not gonna lie, that makes me a little bit sad because at its best, Big Brother can be just really fun television And it can also be really transformative, and it can really bring up some really deep topics that need to be talked about. I get approached by a lot of parents who say, I don't know how to talk to my kids about XYZ. I don't know how to talk to them about superficiality or bullying or groupthink or implicit bias. Like, they don't know how to start these conversations, but they watch Big Brother and somehow they're able to talk about these things because they're watching real people experience them, and people that they might relate to now in a way that they never could before. Maybe I don't know anyone like that in my town. Maybe I'm from a small town. Maybe I don't know a Muslim person or a vegan or, an older Black woman or a religious, you know what I mean? I think,
100%.
right. But listen, let me stop rambling here because I could go on. I think for a show that on the surface is just like a competition show, it can be so much more than that. And that's why I know people care so much, and why, people don't want change. They don't want that thing they love to change. And I totally understand that,
I think that's a perfect segue into our next question, Arisa, is, given everything that you just said and how the feeds specifically have really shined a light on a lot of different types of people and different people that maybe we haven't experienced before, and maybe some tough situations that we've seen play out in real time. Is there a concern that we're going to lose any of that with losing the feeds and shifting over to digital dailies? And is there anything, I'm sure you've gotten this question or will get this question 100 times today, but anything you can share with us around what we can expect out of the digital dailies?
Well, I will say this, and I think I've said as much before. People have been really in their feelings about the changes to this season, and I get it. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also have been in my feelings, and I think for me, how acceptance is the last stage in the stages of grief that we've all been going through. I think where I landed in the acceptance is that I am still so happy to have the show.
Exactly.
And how I'm looking forward is being able to reveal finally some more information about the digital dailies, because I think there was this thought that, it's going to be some clips and it's going to be people sleeping and it's going to be like nothing interesting. And like, oh no, like we're talking hours and hours of regular uploads of footage from the house, hours and hours every week through the whole season. It's going to be much more like After Dark. So I think that understanding that we actually want to put all the best stuff in that for you, because I want to hear those hour-long strategy sessions that might, only be 4 minutes in the show. I love that stuff too. So just know that we're all actually coming from the same place, and we all want the experience to be richer for everyone. And although, change is really hard, there's a world in which it can actually be really positive, and in some ways it's necessary because the world is different now. And that's just the honest truth of it. But, I'm with you, right? You like, I feel like people know me by now. And we really do have the best interests at heart for not only just our fans, right? But we also have to think about the mental health and well-being of our house guests and their families and our fans and our staff. There's a lot of moving parts for something this big and fantastic. But I don't ever want to lose that feeling like you don't understand the motivations of what we're seeing on the show. Like we definitely want to provide that, because that is such a beautiful kind of texture that we're able to provide that no other show does, on the planet.
And real quick, this is like our last question. So I'm glad to hear you say that, obviously, because you want to look out for the mental health and of these families and these players. So out of curiosity, and I'm not sure how much you can tell us, but like, what was that like the real factor that kind of led production to want to cut fees? Because I do think that there is also a little concern when it comes to like mistreatment or controversies with players. Obviously, like we've seen this in US, in Canada, time and time. Like sometimes we don't really get to see on the show some of these things, but we catch it on feed. So was that a possible concern as well? Or like, would you be able to elaborate possibly?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of different reasons that went into this, and I won't be able to go into all of them because it's much more.
Yeah.
There's a lot. But I think, again, what we don't want are those scenarios where we feel like people aren't getting the full picture. We want to give the full picture. You know, that's what, especially in this case, delivering our in-house content, our behind-the-scenes content in a different way. We want to be able to do that because we want to be able to look at some things that are hard to look at. So I'm really interested to see how this season goes. And who knows what happens in the future. But for now, this is the move, and we move.
Yeah.
I respect it. Listen, I thank you so much for talking to us, Arisa, because obviously appreciate that you're willing to speak and everything and speak on your time, but you know, you give us a word. So thank you so much for speaking to us. And this is to Big Brother Canada 11.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this this family. It's a wild one.
We love you. We love you.
Thank you.